Hello, hi, and welcome all. I am Pushkar Yashasvi again from Growjunction, back with my new podcast session. And today we have with us Sharmistha Roy, who is currently working as a product manager in Microsoft and has worked with previous companies like Geo and Infosys, and has also been an alumni of IIM Lucknow. So, hi, Sharmistha, how are you? How are you doing?
Hi Pushkar, I'm doing great. How about you?
Yeah, you are also. I'm also fine, and nice to see you in this weekday afternoon. Busy
I hope
schedule.
this meeting is being recorded and that doesn't reach my manager. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah. So comparatively, weekdays are the afternoons are comparatively chilled for me, so that's completely fine. Happy to be here.
that's great. That's great. So, Sharmishta, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Of course, I would love to do that. So, hi everyone. Pushkar has already talked a little bit about my name, so I wouldn't repeat that. I'm currently working as a product manager in Microsoft. I have close to 2 years of product management experience. Prior to Microsoft, I was working with Geo Platforms Limited. I am specializing mostly in B2B products, but when trying to understand and I take interest in B2C products as well because most of the times product management is about understanding the customer, so it is always helpful to know the customers and how they are thinking, so it actually develops your thought process. I am a computer science engineer and an MBA from IIM Lucknow, as Pushkar has suggested. So nothing special about my degree, an engineer and MBA, like 90% of the Indian student population that is there. I also like to have been into software development for a couple of 3.5 years. So I like to read about technology and still try to write codes and etc. I sometimes fail miserably, but I still try to stay connected to those. Apart from that, I like to read books, work out, cook, eat, and so on. That's it, primarily about myself from the professional side. Yeah.
Yeah, you included your personal side also, and you included your professional side, as you told about your hobby.
Yeah, yeah, right, a bit about that.
That's great. That's great. So, as you have worked for big organizations like Geo and Infosys, and you have done internship also in many other companies, so you might be having some
Yeah.
vision in your life. So, what are they?
Yeah. So it's very, uh, it's a very high level details I would be willing to provide. So, given up around 10 to 12 years ago, when I was, doing my graduation in computer science engineer, that time my vision was that I wanted to be a very good software developer who understands in and out of technology and would be able to write, say, codes, cool codes like Facebook, and build a similar platform like that, right? So that was kind of my vision, and that motivated me to study and get into an organization. And I was fortunate enough to get into a software development role in Infosys, so that was there. But with time, vision, and your plan changes, you try to understand that what is going on right now might not be the perfect thing, and you are looking for some change, right? So well, I was working with Infosys. I understood that while this technology does interest me, but I thought it would be really good to understand the business side as well, right? How it is actually creating impact, what I am doing, how it is helping the organization at higher level. And then some of my mentors suggested, oh, you want to understand business, so you should go ahead and do some, study, or maybe pursue an MBA. So that's where I decided that it's very specific to say I want to be a good software developer. My vision then actually changed to something like I want to be a leader in technology domain. Doesn't matter in how or in which domain I'm working in, but I should be always connected to technology, right? So that was my primary vision that motivated me to pursue my MBA and get into my internship, which was also in digital analytics with Hindustan Unilever Limited. Then I moved to product management because it is also a juxtaposition of technology, customer obsession, and you can learn a lot of things in this area, right? So that's how I would define that I have shaped my vision. And if you ask me where I see myself in 5 years, I don't remember when people asked me this question last time, but I would say that I want to see myself as a product leader, working and solving good problems for the customers. Yeah.
Wow, that was a great vision you have. I hope so that you may achieve all your vision what you
I hope
have
so.
come in future. So,
Thank you so much.
Sharmistha, I would like to ask you that as a as you are working as a product manager in Microsoft. So, how would you explain what is product manager to a complete stranger, like who has interest, but how would you explain to him that what is product and what is that?
Of course, of course. So, you know, when we talk about product management, we read a lot that what is it. Mostly, you will see a lot of theories about working with developers, working with so many stakeholders, developing so many features, blah 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 blah, so on, right? But what I feel with my limited experience with the organizations I am working with, I feel as a product manager, you are the voice of the customers, right? So you represent your customers within the organization, where you understand that what do they need, and you help them to achieve that by your product. So that is a very simple explanation, I understand, but that's what makes a great product manager, right? So additional skills are definitely needed, that you need stakeholder management, you need to understand a little bit of technology, you need to write good documentation, and you need to be good in planning. But the finally, when it comes down to one thing, that you understand your customers and you can solve their problems. So it would be very good to take an example, so for example, let's take an example of Zerodha, right? So Zerodha is doing something which, so if Zerodha wasn't there, then, it would be very difficult for people like you, me, and others, who are interested in stock market, but they don't really know how to do these things. So Zerodha made it very easy, a stepwise onboarding process, and where you can just go ahead and understand what is going on and you purchase a stock. So it is kind of, for if you go back to our parents generation, it is very difficult for them to achieve that, right? So Zerodha understood the pain point. When the market was booming, there were people getting jobs, getting money, they would be willing to invest. Why don't we design a product to solve that? So I believe that they understood the pain point which customers were having. They're still improving, a lot of loopholes are still there, but I believe that is what should be driving our product manager. Yeah.
Oh, that was great. That if you explain to any stranger, I guess that he or she, might get convinced. Okay, that's a great domain, and it's worth trying, right? Hmm.
Yeah, it is actually worth trying. Yeah, it is worth trying, definitely.
All right. So that's great. So how do you develop your, product strategy? What all things you include in that?
So when we develop a product strategy, so it's similar to any strategy, right? Where do you see yourself? So for example, humans is having a strategy. Where do you see after yourself after 3 to 5 years or 18 months, right? So it is like you are shaping the roadmap for the product, and what should be the input to that strategy, that it is actually delivered the perfect product you need, right? So perfect according to the product managers, right? So there are multiple points I think people should be considering whenever we develop a product strategy. The first thing is that what customers are looking for, right? What your product is currently doing, is it aligning with what customers are requiring, right? So that is very important to understand, first point. Second point, if you are in a market where competitors are present, right? So what competitors are doing, are they doing something extraordinary and poaching all your customers, right? So can you do something to stop that, right? And third is definitely to while you solve a lot of problems, deliver features, bring a parity with the competitors, it is very important to keep the fundamental of the product strong. That you delivered say 10 features, and you are the competitors are also lacking behind in terms of features, but whenever the customers are opening your application, for example, it is crashing 9 out of 10 times, so you don't want that. So how the reliability is there for the product, the fundamental should be very strong. So these are the three strong pillars I believe should be going in when you are developing a product strategy. Apart from that, how you want to support the customers, what are the business goals you have, vision at organization level, those are also going to impact your strategy. But these are the first 3 points which I said should be most important according to me.
That's very great and very insightful that you told, how do you develop your product strategy and how do you do it. So I think that's very great, and you might be enjoying in developing the product strategy, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's really
Okay,
fun.
that's nice. So I would like to ask you, Sharmistha, as you have worked for Geo also, right? As a product manager, if I'm not wrong, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So there might be many products that you have launched, and there might be many products that you have failed while launching. So what were the reasons that made you fail or happened?
Yeah. So yeah, failure is part of if you are a product manager, mostly you will and you are experimenting with something, failures would come definitely, right? So I can take an example of a certain instance, right, where we launched something and that did not really work out. And when I say did not work out, I would say that it was not liked by the customers. While it was perfectly good feature, we believe that it is going to work, and it was perfectly fundamentally strong feature, it somehow did not get adoption, right? So what goes wrong when your product or feature does not get the required attention you need from the customers? I believe it is very simple. That the first point is that you are overcomplicating things. Like, you feel that, oh, this is going to help the customers, but they don't need it. They don't need it, right? But you still feel it, and when you reach out to the customers, they are hardly going to say that, oh yeah, I don't need that. They would say, yeah, it's good to have, but they would never say that, out of 10 times when I'm using this product, I'm going to use this particular feature 9 times. They will never say that. That's up to you to understand how important it is. So to understand the customer's need, and whether you are actually solving a pain point, or you are, it's just a good to have thing you are launching, right? So that is very important before going ahead and launching a product, so that you ensure it does not fail, right? The second thing which happens, for failures, this is also again from my personal experience, when internally you take decisions that without even going to the customers, you definitely, as a product manager, you are supposed to wear the hat of customers, but somehow you brainstorm and think, oh, this is something which I need. I feel as a customer I would need. So why don't we go ahead and do that? That does not work. You are not the customer. You might be wearing the hat. So that's not how it works, right? So these are the top two reasons which I can, think about when we talk about failures. Yeah.
All right. So that's great. Like you also told about your personal experience that you used to brainstorm and you used to think that as a customer that what can customer need. So I think that's a good point that if you're thinking as a customer that what customer will need. So is there that any bad point that you told that you should not think yourself as a customer?
No, I never said that you should not. So it is like you come up with the idea and validate it with the customers, whether it is actually solving a pain point or not. So you will see some kind of, I'm not sure if you have seen some applications where you just go and get overwhelmed with so many features. It is so difficult to use. You don't know what to do. And then You just simply uninstall it and go. But what was the product manager thinking for that particular product? They were thinking that they are solving a problem for you, right? But somehow you got very overwhelmed and just left, right? So simplicity is one of the very important features, right? So that's I will again come back to the example of Zerodha, because I'm really fan of the particular product. So I think that if you open Zerodha, if you have ever used it, you will understand that how simple it is. It is not UI heavy. It is not going to tell you with lot of information with pop-ups and etc. It's very simple to use. So it will not scare you away. The product manager did a good job there.
All right. Okay. So that's great. As you cleared my point, that was really nice, and you told the clarity in the information that yes, you should think sometimes, but you should also have a good idea. That's true.
Absolutely.
So, as you're working as a product manager for quite a few years and working currently also as a product manager, so you might have managed many successful, launch successful products also. So, what were
Yeah.
those products, and how do you manage that successful products?
Yeah. So I would be able to talk about couple of specific areas where I have launched this. So it was part of Geo as well, right? Where we as part of Geo, we were working completely in a product which was not yet marketed, right? So it was being developed in house, and it was a completely revolutioning product. Okay, so it was primarily targeted to the contact centers, customer care solution. Nowadays you go ahead and dial IVR, you hear that dial 1 for this, dial 2 for that, and blah blah blah, right? So we were completely trying to replace it with a an automated artificial intelligence based voice bot solution, where you will just go and dial a number and it will get connected to a voice bot, where you can have a human like conversation, right? So something like that we were trying to do. So we have launched quite a few features as part of that, right? And whenever you come to launch a particular feature, the primary challenge is to convince the QA, quality assurance, right, that we are doing a good job there, right? So because QA is though part of your team, but they are supposed to be your enemy as well, to find mistakes within your product so that the customers have a good time, right? So that was one challenge I faced. That was my first product manager stint. It was difficult to convince them, no, it is working, it is a feature. So you might have heard a lot of product management quotes where we say that product managers would just come and say, this is not a bug, this is a feature. So something like that I have also done quite a couple of times, I would say. And when once the feature is live and is being used, right? So then it is difficult to the primary part becomes that to manage that how do you see that you are expecting enough traffic or not, or sometimes it shouldn't be like you are expecting 100 and somehow it is going 1,000 and your system is not working at all, right? To maintain a reliability at platform level is very important for a product to be have a an image within the customers that it works perfectly, right? So that is very important. And also stay connected with the customers, like just because they have adopted it and now they are using it, you shouldn't be just forgetting them that we don't need to connect with them. We will go back to them only if we are launching some new features. That's not how it works. You stay connected to them, because even if a feature works perfectly, maybe they will have some feedback, right? So that really helps. One, as a product manager, you will be gaining a lot of knowledge, and second, it actually helps to improve the product you are building.
All right.
I spoke a lot, I'm sorry.
No, that was great. Actually, that was also required also, right? How do you manage, successful product launching, and what all ideas do you do to have a success, so that the people, those who are watching this session, might get a very great insight that, okay, that you should have to work on these ideas to get a successful product launch. That's
Right,
great.
right, right.
Yeah. So as you were talking about the feature that you were launching this feature and you were getting this challenge. So where does this idea come from? New feature, like, can you explain that? How do you come first
Yeah.
with new features?
Yeah. So whenever a product manager is building new features, right? So their source of the features can be many. right? Okay. So though we the first source, again it goes back to, I think I am saying a lot about customers, but they are the first source of the features, right? If they need something, like 95% of your customers are facing a lot of pain because a particular feature is not there, right? So recently there is a recently, I wouldn't say even yesterday, what happened, if you have heard that Elon Musk invested a lot amount in Twitter, and he insisted that there should be a feature called edit option should be there in Twitter, right? So
Yes.
similar to that. So when your customers are facing a pain because of an absence of a particular feature, you should definitely work on that particular one. Okay, so that is first. The second is organizational vision, right? Every organization would have a vision for a particular product, because they are investing a lot of resources in, a lot of funds in it, so they would also want to achieve something for that, right? So that would be another source where, to align with this particular vision, as a product manager, what more I can do to support that. So that's where your brainstorming capability comes, right? So that is the second. And third would be definitely that you understand that this particular product, as a product manager, you understand that there is a gap, and this should be going to helpful for the customers, right? So then you brainstorm, come up with an idea, design, and discuss with the stakeholders, and go back to customers to understand if that is actually helping them or not, and then you launch it, right? So these are the three top of the minds which I can think about whenever we are talking about developing features or prioritizing.
That was great. So that was nice. So I would like to ask, as you were, before working in product managers or coming into this, you were one time a MBA student. So how did you, work on your CV to, stand out of the crowd, and what type of things you included in your CV?
Yeah, takes me back to those sleepless nights where I was like, what to write in my CV? I don't have any idea. Okay. So now I have better idea that what you actually need. So I believe if you have previous work experience, that helps a lot to set the context, right? So specifically, I'm just talking about my kind of, in terms of the experience which I had. Like, I had a development experience of 3.5 years. So I believe that really opened a lot of opportunities for me, because I worked in, some kind of budding areas, data analytics and reporting and KPIs management and etc., right? So that is the first point. In case you have work experience, it will really be helpful for you to, to get a desired shortlist if you are getting into the relevant domain, right? The second thing is definitely there are now a lot of certifications and etc which you can do, right? If you suppose are coming from just taking a random example, if you're coming from a commerce background and now you want to get into product management, or vice versa, that you are coming from an IT background and then you are willing to go in fin, right? So in that case, it helps that if you do some relevant certifications, right? Because though nowadays certifications are also designed very nicely, where you not only go through videos and learn, but they also give you projects to complete, right? So those actually give you experience of developing live projects on that area, which helps you to boost your CV. Third is definitely you can, look for an internship which is relevant to your domain, that can add a lot of value to your CV, definitely. And then the fourth point, I'm not sure if many are willing to talk about it, but it is again the I would say CG. That if you think that the other three did not work out, you do not have good work experience, you failed to do certifications, you did not get any good internship. So let's see if you can actually get the subjects which are relevant to your domain and get good CG. So that would might also, be helpful. So I did not have a good CG, so I am just saying this just for the backup options. But yeah, but mostly I would say, internships, live projects, and certifications, these are nice ways to gain experience and boost your CV to redirect it to a domain where you really want to go.
Okay, that's great. That's really great. And it's wrote about your CV, how you should build a good CV and a very impactful CV. So I think so that you might have to go back to your old MBA days. That how hard I used to work to my CV and get shortlisted in the company. So that was great.
It
So
was
as you
very
told,
difficult.
you in your missions and visions also, as I asked you told you want to be a good software developer and good uh, in developing software. So I want to ask you this curiosity I had that why did you made decision to product management as you were good in software development? So why sudden change in product management?
Yeah, right, right. So, okay, so let me be very honest. When I got into MBA, I did not have any idea what the after MBA what I will do. I was in the order of MBA that I got into a good MBA college. I'm happy about it.
Yeah,
But by the time I was not even, be able to. I was not even uh, getting the time to release the enjoyment and the accomplishment. Before that, people were like, you need to make a CV. There is a summer internship coming. By the time summer internship was over, you need to make another CV because there is the finals,
internship.
laterals, blah 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 blah. A lot of things, right? So you don't really get time to think, right? And there are so many things to do. There is investment banking, consulting, marketing, general management, product management, supply chain management. These are the top of the minds. Then there are others, and you don't know what you want to do, right? It was very confusing. I used to talk to people and seniors. They would be very helpful, but nobody would actually tell you what to do because that's up to you. That is the decision which you need to make, right? They would give you ideas. If you are interested in this, why don't you go and do this? But they will never tell you what to do. So figuring out I wanted to do product management was more of a decision based on my past, that I had experience in development technology. I like to deal with technologies. So, and now I am doing an MBA, so I need to be in some management role as well. So I tried to understand what is the overlapping area that would, where I will be able to utilize my past experience and also the new things which I'm learning. And then somebody told me, oh, this is it. Oh, there is a new thing called product management. Have you heard about it? It's like, oh, let me, study about it. Let's see what is it. And I really found it perfectly aligning with what I wanted to do. I was so far in Infosys was developing the softwares and trying to understand from my managers that what the customers were looking for. I really felt good about it that I would be now able to go ahead and talk to the customers to understand what do they need and define the features they are looking for, right? So that's how I took the decision that with my past experience, what I want to do, and it's a customer facing thing, why not go and explore it?
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. But as you rightly said about, one thing that you were consulting seniors also regarding that what should I do and where should I go. And that's true that nobody will ever say that what you should do. You should know yourself that which interest you have and you should go with that thing. That's really true.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. You will be able to gather the information. They will tell you everything you need to know. But your decision, you have to make it.
ultimate you are the decision and you have your future on your hands that where you want your
Absolutely.
future to be. So
I agree.
yeah, that's true. So like as you are a product manager, so you might be handling many teams, right? Like you might be working in the teams or you might be handling yourself a team. So what type of
So we are, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead. Sir.
so what type of teams you work with and what type of teams you have handled with?
So I primarily, so when you're product manager, you you have to be good with stakeholder management, because you work with so many teams, you don't even have any idea. Like you get into the product and then you realize, oh, there are these many teams which I have to talk to, right? So your primary stakeholder is the engineering team, because they are finally developing the product what you need and what you need to deliver, right? So they are, I wouldn't say they are stakeholders, I would say they are part of your team only, right? So they are part of your team. It's just that the responsibilities are different. They are developing the product and you are, gathering the requirements. So that is there. The second would be definitely the the customer success team, right? Which is, again, you can say that customer support team, or that would be the definition, customer support team, right? You as a product manager, how to lead them, whether the customers are satisfied or not with your product, right? Then there is product marketing team. Definitely you need to interact with them, because you have not developed. Now let's see whether how to market. They will come up with strategies, whether you are comfortable with it, right? That is another challenge, right? And then there would be a fin team as well, where you can go ahead, because at a certain level, maybe not for all products, but most of the products would be they were generating revenue for you, so that would they would have a price point, right? So how to develop that, and whether you are okay with it, what sort of features are being provided by competitors, so you analyze those, and the pricing team will be able to help you, right? Then there are a lot of other internal team stakeholders, right? Who are specifically organizations like Microsoft. You never get to work in a product which is just being used by you or being developed by you. So there are a lot of other teams who contribute to you, and who are also consumer of your products, or which are being used as an input to your product. So you get to deal with a lot of other internal stakeholders as well. So yeah, these are the top of the minds which I can think of, that are the number of stakeholders which we deal with regularly.
All right. That's great. So, you might be having very challenges also, like while handling a team and working in a team with different types of personalities. Some are very angry, and some are very joyful mood, that they work in a very happy environment. So that's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I start talking about it, I would need a day to deal with that.
Yeah, that's true, because there are so many things to describe and so many things to tell about that. So it would really take a day to explain all those things.
Absolutely. So when you deal with people, you need understand, right? While everybody's interests are aligned, that every team and every individual wants the product to succeed, because that's a collectively organization level effort, right? But you get to meet various type of people. Somebody will be very helpful to not so helpful, and then you have to, so I wouldn't say not so helpful, they would need more convincing, right? So they try to understand, why are we pushing this, why do we need it? So they want to understand from the business logic. So you need to put a lot of effort to convince them. So that is the various spectrum of people you can deal with in the part of product management.
Wow, that's great. That was really very informative, as you told about working in teams and how do you handle the teams.
Yeah.
So, like if you work in a team and you have worked in a team, so how do your team members and co-workers describe you? In what word?
Okay. I think they would say that Sharmishta is a person who is a good listener, and tries to agree to most of the things, but sometimes she is pushing too hard because the customer's interest, or the product's interest. So I think that is I am a very good listener. I like to listen to people. So I was not like this before. So when I was preparing for MBA GDs and etc., I decided that I don't think listening is a good option in GDs. But I actually understood that is not the way. you need to be a very good listener to even be a part of a GD. And then you move to your work in experience and you start working with people. The more you listen to people, you understand that you have a liberty to, in case you are trying to push your point or you want them to work on your points, you have the liberty to justify your points better if you are listening them well. So I'm a good listener. I feel they also feel the same.
Mhm. Yes, that's true. Because if you're not a good listener, then how can you understand other people's problem? And how
Absolutely.
can you understand that what are their way of thinking and what are their way of solving a problem? So if you are talking to me and I'm cutting you and you are saying that no, listen to me, this will happen. So you would also get sometimes irritated. Why are you not listening to me? You should always be a good listener, not only in GD also. I think you should be a good listener everywhere.
Absolutely.
That whether you're working
Absolutely.
in an environment or whether you're in your family also, you should always be a good listener. That's
I
true.
completely agree. So it helps you to understand that person, right? So if you listen to that person, you will know what he is expecting. Maybe you are not able to convince him because you are not able to provide that correct data point to him. So you can just take a time, maybe a day or two, go back and find that and come back with it. Unless you listen, right? So
Yeah,
that's the
that's really true. So with this working as a product manager, you might be have facing many challenges. So what are those types of challenges you face?
Yeah, definitely. I can talk about many, but let me just limit it to two, three. The first challenge which I feel that it is the stakeholder management. It is you deal with various type of people, and as a product manager, you have lot of ownership, but you don't have the authority over others, which is rightly so, right? So influencing others without authority, as easy it is to say, it is very difficult to implement, right? So that is the primary challenge, and this case, as part of product management journey in past 2 years, I will say that I have learned a lot, uh, how to convince people, how to influence people, what are the things which I should be taking care of, right? So stakeholder management is a big challenge. So, and that is why I believe, the most of the people who are building a product management CV, they would be willing to write, I have managed so many stakeholders, because the others would know, oh, this is a big deal, right? So that is there. Second is the challenge is to completely understand the customers. And I would say, when I say completely, it is never ending. So the moment you feel that you have completely understood the customers, they have actually taken another leap and their expectation has completely shifted, right? So to keep up with the customers and to keep the product up to date with the customers' expectation, that is a very challenging thing, because it should be relevant to the customers. The moment they feel that it is not relevant anymore, they are not going to use it. And there are a lot of other competitors nowadays, right? So it's not like you are kind of the only one service provider anymore, right? So that is there. And the third thing which I feel is a big challenge is to to prioritize, right? So whenever you are talking about product management, another important thing is prioritization, that you have, say, 10 or hundreds of features you need to do. Customers have asked 20, your vision is saying 40, and then your fundamentals are saying another 40, and you feel that it would really be great that if you could deliver all 100 in next 6 months, for example. But you are limited with resources, right? You cannot do all 100. So which, and you have resource for set only 10. What do you do? How do you actually decide out of these 100 what you will do, right? You can't just go ahead that 2 is to 4 is to 4 ratio and you will take 2 from this, 4 from that, 4 from that you cannot do. So prioritization is another challenge. I think I am still learning the art of it, and I believe that I have heard actually people saying who have 10 plus years of experience that they are still learning about the process of prioritization. So I'm still a kid there.
Yeah, that's great because you should never stop learning. Like life never stops you teaching, so how can you stop learning? Because at every point of time, whether you have 20 plus years of experience, there might be many situations that first you have to learn that how to solve that situation, then only you will apply that okay, that this is the way that this situation can be solved. So yeah,
Absolutely.
and as you were
Absolutely.
talking about the roles that I have to do this, and when implementation program plan comes in, I have to also face this challenge. So I would say that this quote is very fine. That with great power comes great decision.
Yes.
So so yeah, so you have to deal with many types of decisions, and yeah, that's really nice. So coming to the last part of the session, Sharmistha, I would like to special thanks to you coming in this busy schedule and taking out time for this session and giving us details about the product management and everything. Thank you so much, Sharmistha. Anything at end you want to say to our audiences, and anything you have in mind?
I just want to say that I'm pretty sure the people who would be watching this are some way, one or the other way, product management enthusiasts, right? So I believe that just the advice I would leave you with that no matter what sort of experience you have in past, product management is a domain. If you are really interested, you can definitely get started with, right? So be it a APM role or PM role, if you are interested, just learn a couple of things and start taking a stab at it. And don't get disappointed. And I'm saying this from my personal experience. I have heard a lot of people saying, I have, say, this relevant experience. I am a mechanical engineer. I don't know how to do product management. What do I do? So I'll say that it is a very good time to get into product management. Almost all the companies are needing it, a product manager to build a good product. Just learn a thing or two about it and take a stab at it. So that's just my advice. And thank you for having me. It was a really good interaction. Yeah. And I could recall and recollect a couple of things which I thought that I have forgotten already. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming in.
that was really great, and that was really great advice to all the product management people who are looking forward to work in this domain and growing in this as a career. That was really great,
Absolutely.
and I would also like our audience to say that please do subscribe to our channel, as we will be coming with many more interesting podcasts and amazing learning from amazing people. So yeah, thank you, Sharmishta. Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you,
me here.
Pushkar. Thank you so much for having me. Bye bye.